Hello, everyone. I'd like to call you back to your seats, please.
That's all right. I came up. I'm still the schedule. I didn't notice actually. So maybe it was.
All right, so we're going to get started again. One thing that they wanted us to mention here is that there are a few spots left open for one-on-one meetings with certain partners. So if you are interested in getting a one-on-one spot with some of the partners, please see us at the registration desk and we can book a time for you to do that. So I'll turn it over to David, who's going to introduce the next speaker. Thank you.
Okay, it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Don Potier from Lulujo, who I've had the pleasure of meeting over the last couple of days. I would say, though, I've known her company for a few years now, and it's a great story of an Atlantic Canadian true SME that has found some success in China. Lulujo is a Canadian brand of children's products based out of Fredericton, New Brunswick, with distribution in over 40 countries. Lulujo was founded in 2010 by CEO Don Potier. One simple product turned into a brand of baby and nursery essentials. The brand's line, spanning 15 categories and over 100 SKUs, is available in thousands of retail locations nationwide, ranging from baby boutiques to retail giants like Nordstrom, Toys R Us, Indigo, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Amazon. Lulujo expanded into China in 2015, selling their products on most e-commerce platforms, including their own Lulujo flagship store on China's online retail giant, and our guest today, Tmall. Tmall Global, rather, although they will be on Tmall soon, I believe. Please welcome Don Potier.
So thanks so much for having me here. I'm actually from Nova Scotia, so I'll always take every opportunity to come back. Lulujo is a company that I founded about 10 years ago. It's named after my children. Lulu and Joe are their nicknames. Jack and Emily are their real names. And I was on maternity leave I was actually working as a project manager for a company called Innovatia. And I think I saw someone from Innovatia here today. Another great Atlantic Canadian company. So while I was on maternity, so actually let me back up. So Lulujo now as a brand is, as David mentioned, we're in over 40 different countries. We have probably 120 SKUs across 15 to 20 different categories. Our products are sold in stores like Nordstrom, Indigo, Bed Bath & Beyond, Toys R Us, sadly in the United States not anymore, but here in Canada still, and other major department stores and gift stores, baby stores around the world. So to bring it around, that's not how it always was. So 10 years ago when I started, and a big reason why I love the Alibaba story, and I'll get back around to that, is that while I was on maternity leave, I just wanted to create a product for my daughter. And I happened to know how to sew because I grew up in rural Nova Scotia, and that's what you did when you were little in the small town and no cable and nothing to do. You're playing outside, you're working with fabric. So this is something I knew how to do. Sewed a sling, loved it. People in the neighborhood in Fredericton, New Brunswick said, you should really sell that product. So I said, well, all right, where am I going to sell it? So go to this local store. Okay, went to the local store, said, can you buy this? Will you sell this product? Yep, sure, we'll take 6. So ended up, of course, probably spending $600 to make a $100 sale, but it was so exciting to actually get the sale and get my product into a store. So then I thought, okay, well, we've got to come up with a name now. We've got to come up with, what is this all about? And then the store called me back about 2 weeks later and said, you know what, those 6 slings they sold, we'll take 12 more. It's like, wow, great, this is fantastic. So then I thought, well, if this product sells here, it's going to sell in other places across Atlantic Canada. So my daughter and I, car seat in the car, myself, we drove around Prince Edward Island, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and we hit up every store that I thought would sell baby products. and every store bought the products. So I thought, whoa, okay, this is great. Now I've got to sew them. So then I had to hire someone to help me do this. Then from there, I thought, well, okay, what else is there? So I started thinking about different products that would be part of the LuluJo brand, but of course, only something I could manufacture myself or some other women in the neighborhood. And that's what we did. And then we created this beautiful, comforting brand from some of the moms who were helping me in the basement. Then I had to go back to work with Innovation full-time, so at night we were manufacturing and sewing all these slings and blankets and face cloths. And then I thought, this is great, but I'm not going to be able to do this my whole life. So how am I going to manufacture these products? So I literally, and I was telling some of the Alibaba folks last night this story, I Googled how to manufacture in China. And what came up first? Alibaba. And I thought, what's this Alibaba? What is this? And so I started reading through, and there were reviews, and this manufacturer, and some of them had like 20 gold stars or diamonds or whatever it was at the time, but I knew that I was probably at the right spot. So I thought, okay, how am I going to pick someone here? So I start talking to people, and I happen, by luck, and there's been a lot of luck with LuluJo, and a lot of the times it's been actually the people that I've met that have helped me become very lucky, and our team become lucky. So I was very lucky that the person who responded, many did, but the one person I happened to write back to helped me out and said, well, this is what we can do. We can do this for you. We can manufacture this, and it was a swaddling blanket. That's what I was looking for at the time. So, and we still actually use this manufacturer right now, which is actually a nice part of the story, is that not only were we lucky to find that manufacturer, we've now, 10 years later, helped him grow his manufacturing business, and he's able to employ many more employees in factories in China as well, as we've grown our business on our side, so it's both ways. So anyway, at the time, he said, yes, we can do this, but we have MOQs. So Google, what is an MOQ? And this is how basic it was at the time. Minimum order quantities, 2,000 pieces of a swaddling blanket. Whoa, 2,000 pieces, okay, all right. I'm gonna order these 2,000 pieces, but I can't just have one, so I should have 2 different patterns. Well, I'm gonna have to order 2, so now I'm gonna order 4,000 swaddling blankets, and I have no idea whether they're gonna sell or not, but I kinda had a gut feel that they would. So I did, and I came up and they said, well, you need to send me your design, which I'm not an artist. I do not know how to draw, but I happened to be looking at my son's artwork on the wall that he had brought home from school that day, and there were these little circles, and I thought, well, that's really cute. So pull out the pencil crayons, put it down on paper, hand it over to a graphic artist, and say, can you put this on a PDF? Has to be 47 by 47. Yep, no problem. Send it off to China. And then 3 months later, 4 months later comes around, 4,000 swaddling blankets at my door. And from there, I thought, well, okay, we're going to sell them here in Atlantic Canada, but if they can sell in Atlantic Canada, they're going to probably sell across Canada, so let's try this. So off to Toronto we go to a trade show. A couple of girlfriends, rent a truck, major winter storm, stop at IKEA, get some furniture, and we set up. And at that trade show, retailers from across Canada, some of the majors at the time, who wouldn't have talked to us at that point, they stopped in, and every single province and retailers in every single province took on LuluJo. So at the end of this show, we're now up to probably 60 to 75 different retailers across the country. So this is going into 2011 now. So now it's rolling. So okay, great, the 4,000 swaddling blankets are selling, now it's time for more. And we just continue to expand like that. So we thought, if this is gonna work in Canada, what's next? United States is close, let's try there. So here we go, let's go to a trade show, to the biggest trade show for baby products in the United States in Las Vegas, and see if they're gonna buy LuluJo. Sure enough, every single state, or almost every single state, and retailers in all states ended up buying our brand. So this is now 2014. We've got manufacturing covered, we've got our team covered, we've got graphic artists covered. might be finally starting to pay myself a little bit of money, and the company's working. So now what next? So now it's the rest of the world. If moms are gonna buy our products in Canada, and moms are gonna buy our products in the United States, I think that they're gonna buy our products in Europe, I think they're gonna buy our products in Australia, I think they're gonna buy our products in Asia. So which country comes next? And that's what we did. And we went from UK to France to Switzerland to United Arab Emirates, which we do really well in United Arab Emirates, to the Philippines, Thailand, Poland. Poland's one of our top countries. They do so well for Lulujo. And then came China. And China, what we learned and what we knew was that people loved our products, but we didn't know what to do. How are we gonna sell it there? So the strategy that we took for the rest of the world was, you find a distributor, you find a good distributor who you have relationships with and that you trust, and then they're gonna become the face of your company and they're gonna distribute exclusively in that country. And that's how we did it for most of these countries. But then when we got to China, we thought we'd do the same thing. And so that's what we did do at the time. So sure enough, here you go. Not sure who you are, but this is Lulujo. I hope you do well with it. And then we started learning more about sort of what was going on. And then we tried to switch distributors, and our trademark was owned by our distributor. So, and not only was our trademark owned by our distributor at the time, our trademark was filed in multiple classes by other people, by squatters. So then we had to back up, and try to get the trademark back, which was just a learning curve from many, many hours of learning about that. But what we learned after that was then we ended up going to an event at Alibaba, or the Detroit Gateway event in Detroit, which was incredible. And we realized that we needed to have a little bit more. There was something happening, there's something going on, and we want to be part of it. This isn't just about giving exclusive distribution. This country's massive, and we need to do things differently. So we backed up a little bit. We then ended up partnering with a trade partner who created our Tmall Global, but who actually really was focused and still is focused on their own shop and sell Lulujo under their own shop. And they've done really well for us. And then now, within the last year, we know, because of the e-commerce platforms, that that we really need a trade partner that understands what we're doing. And selling online is very different than selling at a Nordstrom's or a Bloomingdale's or an Indigo, or Toys R Us. It's a whole different conversation, and we don't have the expertise in that area. So we need someone who does. And so we've started. You've heard WPIC speak earlier. And so they've just started helping us, I guess, in the last 8 months, right? 6 to 8 months. And our Tmall domestic store will be going live in a month? Soon, in a few days. So we're getting there. And, talk to me in a year, and we'll see how everything is then, too. But what we've learned from the last, couple of years and 10 years of doing this is that, I guess what my message would be is that there's just so much potential. And if you make a decision to work into the China market, or any other market for that matter, you just keep going forward and find people that have the information, that can answer those questions, and find a way around the obstacles. So that's Lulujo, and happy to be here. I'm happy to answer any questions afterwards as well, if anyone's thinking about going into the China market and has some questions. As I said before, we're a small business from rural Nova Scotia in New Brunswick now, and now we're a global company. So thanks so much.
Does anyone have any questions now?
No hands?
Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, we got one right here.
Sure.
So some of the things that you've been learning with e-commerce in China, have you been now able to like bring some of that back and do more e-commerce in North America and your European markets that you've been in, and seeing how that's shifting?
Right, so that's a really great question, because we as a company realized that we kind of did things backwards. So some of our competitors, actually we've kind of done things backwards the entire 10 years, but it's worked for us. So many of our competitors that are it's not that they're larger, they're in the same space, we're on the same walls, on the same shelves, in the same stores. But what they did is they focused so much on e-commerce in North America. And that's what they were trying to do, and they're selling directly to the consumer. And we didn't do that. We thought, we're gonna go into each market and see how our products work by using distributors and not so much focusing on e-commerce. So we didn't for North America, but now we're doing it in China and then realizing, okay, in North America, we should be doing this too. So we have maybe 60,000 followers on social media, between Instagram and Facebook. And so we have a ton of people who are following us. And it's time really now, and that's what we've been focusing on over the last 6 months as well, to do that here in North America.
Any other questions? The live stream can't hear you.
Thank you for sharing your story. Laurie Sanderson with Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. In terms of your experience, you said when you went into China, find a good distributor. What was your process in finding that really good distributor? What did you have to go through to find that person or that company?
You know, it really depends on which market you're in. So for us, I can tell you what we did, but it's very different if you're in a different sector. So for us, we happened to find a distributor because we were at trade shows in other parts of the world. You know, we would be at trade shows in Cologne, Germany, or Las Vegas, Nevada, and at those particular shows, you end up speaking to what are other companies doing? Who are you talking to? Who do you know in France? Who do you know in Australia? And it just becomes a network because it's a very small world. And somebody happened to know a distributor in China, and he said, well, do you trust this person? Do you think that they would be a good partner? And at the time, they said yes. And they actually were for the time, what we were doing at that time. So that's how it worked for us. Yeah, just talking, networking, meeting people. Yeah.
Time for one last question.
What advice would you give someone that's just starting this journey? First piece of advice you can give them.
1 day of passion and a lifetime of perseverance. Yeah.
Thanks very much. There we go.
Thank you, Don. I think that's a great story, and I think you're an excellent storyteller too, so thank you for sharing that with us. It's my honor now to introduce our next pair of speakers. Mr. Steve Wong is General Manager of Alibaba Group North America, and Simon Shin is here to talk about fresh sourcing, which is a topic more relevant for this crowd here in Atlantic Canada. I'd like to thank Alibaba for being here today, and I should note they've been wonderful partners of ours since the Prime Minister Trudeau first visited in 2016. And I should also note Prime Minister Harper also visited Alibaba in 2014. Alibaba have been excellent partners of ours. This is the, I think, 14th or 15th such session like this that we've done with them. And they've, on many occasions, brought a very large and capable team with them to engage directly with you, and that's the case here today again. So thank you very much to them. Steve is based in Vancouver, and we're happy to have him in Canada, and he's been an excellent partner. Steve was appointed VP, President of Alibaba Group Business Group, General Manager of North America in March 2018. He is responsible for the strategic planning and implementation of the globalization of the Alibaba Group's ecosystem in the United States and Canada. Wong Yulei, Steve, has served as Vice President of Alibaba Group and CEO of Tmall since 2014. In his previous role, Yulei served as Vice President of B2B, Zhuhuasuan, Taobao within Alibaba Group. Simon, who's going to speak after Steve, has 13 years of working experience in seafood industry, currently leading Alibaba's North America fresh sourcing team to cover fresh, frozen, live food categories, including seafood, meat, poultry, fruits, and produces. Responsible to introduce new and existing fresh food from North America to the consumers in China through different business units within Alibaba's ecosystem: e-commerce, retail, food service, and wholesale, as well as supporting local suppliers in North America to market their products in China. And on that note, it's worth noting as well that Alibaba in China has, particularly for seafood, has a number of different channels, including supermarkets, offline, online to offline, and so on. So I'm pleased to welcome Mr. Steve Wong.
Sorry, just give me a second. Yeah, this works. So hi, everyone. Thank you so much for today. This is the second time I come to the Halifax. I never thought, in the early spring, we still have the snowing here. Last night, we have a very good night. I have a couple of the friends and the colleagues. We stay together, drink the local beers to see outside is snowing. I'm saying if I couldn't go back to the Vancouver today, probably tonight I want to have some beer, have some Chinese food, especially the hot pot. But I don't know where I can find the hot pot in Halifax, but that would be fantastic. Okay, let me introduce myself a little bit. So I'm part of the Canadian. I have the PR right now. So China definitely is my motherland, and I hope the Canada will be another, maybe the stepmother. I don't want to call that, but, I hope there's another, that's a homeland for me. So, last, 2 or 3 years, I'm staying in Canada. I saw there's a lot of the chance I can work for the local business and also for, the Chinese consumers, because I'm the Chinese consumers. My kids, my little girl was born in Hong Kong. Start from the first day. He used the milk powder is from the Canada because my sister stay here. So each of the time I want to get the powder is pretty hard for me because every time I come to here, I pick some of the milk powder for my little girls. When I migration to the Canada, I saw maybe, especially in the Canada, where we have a lot of very good quality products, which I want to help the local business to sell all these kind of products to China. Even in the next few years, we can go to abroad. So before I start my presentation, can I ask you guys some questions? I think most of you guys know Alibaba. Am I right? But can you share me what is Alibaba? Any thought of the Alibaba? It depends on your mind, not just my introductions. Anything? What is Alibaba? It's a film? Yes. Yes, someone maybe know. Yes, please. Oh my God. Yeah, so because you come from China, so I ignore your answers. Yes. Only in China, probably you can answer these questions in this way. From you guys, especially from some guys from the local, from Halifax, please.
For our company, we use Alibaba a lot for identifying suppliers and
So from the B2B side, I think. Okay, good. Any others? Don't worry, I'm not testing you. Yeah, I want you to have some, maybe some informations by yourselves, because after today, I only take the 15 minutes. I don't think you can remember everything. I just hope you can remember one thing about Alibaba. It's enough, because we have a long way to go. Start from today. Any other thought of the Alibaba? Jack Ma, good. Most of my colleagues in the North America and also the brand owner says, what is Alibaba? Alibaba is Jack Ma. Okay. So each of time when I go back to China, I have a chance to talk with Daniel, with Jack. I said the most of the North America brand owner, they only remember is two things. One is Jack Ma. Another one maybe the Gateway. Gateway Toronto, Gateway in Detroit. After that, most of the brand says, what is Alibaba? Let me show you what is Alibaba. Oh. So first we call Alibaba is not just Alibaba, it's an ecosystem. Why we call it is ecosystem? This is Alibaba. So if you have any chance, I just remember lots of questions. So what is the first suggestion or the piece of advice for Alibaba? My suggestion is go to China by yourself. When you stay in Halifax, you only know something about Alibaba. It's not the whole picture. This is the whole picture. So I gave you some idea for this whole picture. It's still hard for you guys to understand what is Alibaba, even to me. Okay, every time I go back to China, I thought, oh, we do something I never know. Okay, last time when I go back to China, we have some agreement with Starbucks. So here, if you want to buy Starbucks, you have to pick up by yourself. But in China, if you want the Starbucks, you can stay here, use a mobile phone to order a Starbucks. Then some guys will knock the door to come inside. So who is Steve? This is your Starbucks. Can you believe it? Okay, in China, most of the young generation, they said, if I use any service of Alibaba, the only thing you need is a mobile phone. Okay, if you have the mobile phone, then the only thing you need to do is money. If you have the money in your Alipay account, then you stay at home, do whatever you want to do. You don't need to go outside. Okay, if you want to buy some food, we call the local service. You know that the Chinese have the lots kinds of the food, even the hot pot, as I mentioned. Hot pot, most of you guys think maybe you need to go to the restaurant to eat hot pot. But in China, you don't need to go to restaurant. If you want hot pot, you order hot pot. Someone will come to your home to service you. After that, they will pick up all the things, then they gone. So this we call the local service. And especially the middle, the core business, we start from the e-business. And most of the guys understand, so Alibaba is linked to the B2B, B2C, or the C2C side. And also, when you eat your food at home, you also can, to see the videos. You can use a WeChat. You can use anything of the digital media and the entertainment to see whatever you want to see in China. This is Alibaba. So because we have a lot of the surface part, then we think we need the financial service. We call it as anti-financial. But right now, I think probably in the Halifax, some restaurants, you can use Alipay to buy your food. But especially if you go to Toronto or go to the Vancouver, Chinese definitely, they don't need to use the Canadian dollars. So even to me, every day I try to use my, that's a mobile phone. But it's hard in Vancouver down center because that's a lot of the restaurants still not accept the Alipay. But when you use Alipay, it's pretty much easier for you, like in China. And also, we have the logistic. Here in North America, we just started. We have the group team. They based in Pasadena, in the LA. They try to build up the logistic for the local business and local brand. If they want to work with us, sell the products back to Asia or to the other regions. And also, we call the Alimama. What is Alimama? It's mama, because we have the Baba. We need the mama. Okay. Alimama is a platform to help the brand, to marketing your brand to the mass market. And also, the last one is AliCloud. the cloud computing, because most of the brand, they need this kind of infrastructure to help you, to support you doing the business. Okay, accept all the whole pictures. I give you some of the sexy numbers. So what is Alibaba? So every month, there's almost 700 million active users to use our service. So I transfer the number to whatever you maybe think your formula. In the Canada, only have the 30 million people. The total is the whole countries. In Alibaba, the ecosystem, 20 times about the whole country's peoples to use Alibaba service in a month. And what we call the active, that means at least they are not just seeing the service, they're using the service, whatever kinds of service. Okay. Last year, we have the promotion. We called it a single day promotion. It's almost, we have the numbers, it's almost 40 billion Canadian dollars just for 24 hours. All the customers to spend their monies, the 40 billion US dollars on that platform. Okay, so what's the number? It's almost the triple times compared with Black Friday and Cyber Monday on the 2017. This is a platform. Okay, I think most of the brand, when they heard this platform, they will say, so what we can start? Okay, I will spend a few minutes to introduce that's the most important business for Ali Groups. Back to the 1999, we started from the e-commerce. It's called the B2B platform, which the platform is pretty much easier to help the, the brand to find the supplier or sell the products to the different regions. So this is the first start from the 1999. Start to the 2003, we do the C2C business models. It's more like the eBay in North America. 2008, we start doing the B2C platform. It's more like it's pretty much compared with Amazon, okay, but the business model is different. We are not sell any products by ourselves. We're more like the shopping mall. We will, welcome all the different brands to come to our platform to sell products by yourself. Because we do those three kind of the models for the e-business, in that day we think the customers and the brand need the financial service. Then we have the anti-financial groups. They are not just doing, that's transfer the money. They're also doing all kinds of the banker system. And also, right now, is kind of service we call the 芝麻 credit. So the Chinese people, if they want to apply for the Canadian, the visa, they can use, that's the 芝麻 credit to apply for it. This is the first country in G7 to accept the 芝麻 credit, because 芝麻 credit is more active because each of your activities in the Ali platform, you will get the credit. And also that depends on the every transaction. It's not like the bank account, you have the statement from the bank, but sometimes maybe your credit is changed or the balance is changed, but the 芝麻 credit is always active by your performance. Okay, and from here, because we're doing the e-business, so after we get all the, that's the anti-financial business, then we start doing like the logistic business. Because in China, if you want delivery all the products, you still need some the logistic service to support you. And also, back to Alibaba and the Ali Cloud business in China. So all those things, what we do in China is to support the brand to doing their core business in our platform. So in China, most of the brand, what they do, they are try to figure out what is their positioning, and how do they serve the customers. Other things we will help the brand to deliver. So as I mentioned, we got the logistic service. It's called 菜鸟. Okay, anti-financial, as I mentioned, we do a lot of the financial services. We can give the credit, and also you can use Alipay. Alipay is a part of service for the anti-financials. You can use Alipay, which most of the country right now, you can go, especially in the Asia, you can use Alipay to go to the different the countries. You just use Alipay. You don't need to transfer the money because every time you go to the different countries, the first thing you need to go to the the currency exchange to change the local currency. But right now, if you have the the Alipay account in China, the only thing is you have enough RMB. It's okay. You can use RMB in the different region, even in the Vancouver and the Toronto. Some restaurant and like that's as we mentioned, that's Yorkdale and Oxford Mall. Some shops we can use Alipay as well. Okay, so that's the first part. What is Alibaba? So I'm stop here. Do you guys have a little bit more, understand what is Alibaba? Am I correct? That's too complicated. Yes. You don't need afraid to answer this question. Even to me, I think it's too complicated. Each of the time I go back to China, I have to understand what is changing again. It's always change. This is China. It's always change. But the good thing is you always have the chance to meet the new opportunities and to meet new business partners and a new opportunity for your business. Okay. The last page is we use about 20 years to build up in China. So the next part, I would like to mention about our globalization. So this is a mission about another 20 years. Maybe start from the last years, but next 20 years, we will go to the globalization. What is the globalization? It's pretty much easier to explain. Just only one slice. We call global buy, global sell, global pay, global delivery, and global fund. All those things is exactly as we have done in China. So China is more locally. What is the global? Maybe the platform use different languages. Maybe the Alipay to accept the different currencies. Maybe in the next few years, the 菜鸟 will go different the regions to set up the local hubs. Maybe the brand in the different regions can sell the products in our platform to the different regions. That is Alibaba, what we want to do for the next 20 years. So here, for most of the brand, the first question probably you will mention, so how can we do business with China? So the first part, I mentioned what is we have done in China. Another part, I heard some brand says, if I want to sell our products to the different regions, like so we are not just go to the US, we are not just go to China. How can we go to the Asia, other the regions? Go back to this page, because this is our strategy. So if you have a chance to work with us, you are not today, probably you are thinking about how can we deliver it, or how can we make the business with the Chinese regions or with the Chinese consumers. Maybe next 5 or 10 years, you can think about after the Chinese, how can we deal with the India people, with Pakistan, and even to the Europe regions. Okay, so this is the whole my part. That's pretty short. So back to the first question, what is Alibaba? So I would like to emphasize what is Alibaba mission. So someone said, what is the difference with us and Amazon? Because I think we did have the different the mission. Our mission is always make it easy to do the business anywhere. So if any brand or any the business owner want doing it from the Alibaba platform, the only thing we want to do, we want hear of you. We want listen from you, and we try to build the platform more, the more widely and more efficiency. And we want to provide the service to support you doing your business in the whole world. Okay, this is our mission. And also, we want Alibaba to last at least 102 years. That's 3 decades, which means we still a long way to go. And I hope you guys can join us, and we go to another, how many years? 80 years, something. Yes, we stay together, and I help how maybe we can help all of you to stay as longer as you want. Thank you so much for today.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Simon Shin. I'm the director of the fresh food sourcing covering North America regions. Before I start my presentation, I would like to show short video clips, which many of you have already maybe seen through the YouTube. It's something about our new retail concept store, Fresh April, the Hema.
It's not every day that you see Jack Ma at the grocery store. That's because this isn't just any grocery store. This is Hema Supermarket, and it's Alibaba's entry into what the company calls new retail.
I'm at a Hema Supermarket in Shanghai. This was the first of what are now 13 locations in China, and it's been open for 18 months. For Alibaba, this is the best example yet of the merger of online and offline shopping. Hema uses technology and data to provide a seamless and more efficient shopping experience for consumers. For starters, everything at Hema is powered by mobile. You download the app, and then you use your phone to shop.
For example, Hema is all about fresh foods from all over the world. But how would you know?
Everything in the store has a barcode. You use the app to scan the code, and you get a ton of great information about the product. Hema will even make recommendations of similar products based on what you have in your hands. These are exactly the Washington cherries that I was looking for. This is perfect.
One of the biggest attractions in Hema is its seafood section. That's because in China, there's a long tradition of hand-picking the freshest seafood for consumption. And at Hema, that means you don't even have to wait until you get home to eat. You can have it cooked for you right here in the store, just like Jack Ma did.
This is our first time coming here after work. The place is quite big, clean, and bright. And we pick the food together, and then we eat it together. The food here, the seafood, the mushrooms, they are fresh and they're delicious, and we enjoy the time. Yeah.
Now, for all the convenience of shopping in person at a Hema supermarket, some of the best innovations were delivered online. See, these stores also serve as fulfillment centers. Customers place orders through the app, and then workers run around the store collecting items for delivery. Each store serves a radius of about 3 kilometers, about 1.5 miles, and they can serve thousands of orders a day, each within 30 minutes.
Here's how it works. Each employee has a scanner and a delivery bag with a unique barcode on it. That barcode corresponds with a specific order. After they finish packing their orders, they drop the bags off here. When I'm ready to check out, I use the Hema app, which is linked to my Alipay account.
Hema is also a membership club. If I join, the app remembers all of my purchases so it can personalize and improve my shopping experience the next time around. I can't wait to see how they try to entice me back here. But honestly, I don't think it's going to be too hard.
Okay, so That was the video clip about explaining about the Fresh Hippo store, but it looks very innovative, but that video was about 4 years ago. That was 4 years ago in China about the new retail concept. So, it looks really innovative, but it's been there already for 4 years. And then this is the page about that I requested one of my colleagues in China to run as a demonstrate how they order the online using their mobile, how to order them online for the fresh food purchased through the Fresh Hippo store. So the left one is of course, it's a Canadian lobster. It's a live lobster available online, and then they put an order for the Fresh Hippo store. And the middle one is Canadian beef, another Canadian product. Then last one is the orange from California. So it's a U.S. all imported product available in the Hippo store, the Fresh Hippo store, and they can order online. And then once they put the online, they can select specific time when they want to have their product delivered. So I'm at the work about like 5 p.m. I'm ready to go home, and I want to have some of the lobster to cook together with the beef. And I want it to have to be delivered like 5:30 at front door. I select the time, and it gets delivered, and the lobster looks like that in the box, packed as alive, ready to eat. I mean, like ready to cook, and then I can enjoy my day. That's how it is working in the fresh business in China. So when you're looking at those kind of different ways of the retail concept, that China is changing every time, every year. We are hearing a lot of different news and articles about the growth of China. China is became the second largest economy in the world, and there are more and they have a lot more growth in especially on the middle class, who are more on the younger generation, who has a little bit more of the disposable income where they can spend their money. So their buying pattern and the consuming pattern has been changed as well. And also, when we look at the specific retail market, the product form that they've been consuming has been changed. From the traditional marketplace now to the retail store, but just for as an example, for the seafood wise, it has been a whole round fish, fairly larger size to share in one dish with the family. Now it's becoming a fillet or portion size retail ready package for the single or the double household size. So China is changing quickly, and because of the changing and all the increase on their income, they are more care about their the food safety, or the food quality, and because of their income, because of their extra disposable income, they are able to spend their income for different food categories, and they get to travel outside where they can be exposed to the new ingredient. Especially if they come to Canada, we'll go for the lobsters as well. So, for that, everybody hearing that China is becoming big, and then in a big consuming area, but a lot of small business and the medium-sized business are not really sure if that really work if their product will work for the China, because if it's a medium to small size, putting some of the investment money or making a travel to China to see those will be a big portion compared to the larger corporations. So a lot of people will be very uncertain about their future success in the Chinese market. So to explain that one, I want to use some of the card game. How we can, we are Alibaba here to help, and I would like to explain through the card game, like a blackjack. So when you play blackjack, say if you are the player, you have about 42% of the winning probability. About 10% is draw, and 50 to 52% of the winning probability goes to the dealer. But now that's uncertainty, because the probability of the winning is very low. But when you play the blackjack and then you are the player, you have two cards in your hand that you know what it is. It's like the suppliers, the producers. You know your market, and you know what you are producing. You know what the origin is. You know all the seasons, weathers, all the package and all the information about your capacity of production. You have all the information, but you don't know what the other person has, the dealer. So the only chance that you can win is about 40%. But now with the Alibaba, with our the ecosystem, we can help to give an idea what dealer has on their hands. That's like Steve mentioned on our ecosystem. We have the digital media entertainment. We have e-commerce. We have a retail chain, and that goes to our Alipay system for the mobile payment. Then we have China, who does all the logistics, and the Alibaba for the marketing, and the Alibaba Cloud who will give us the share the data as all the different consumers. So we have because of the market presence of Alibaba Group, we know more about the consumers. We know more about the market trends, so we can share those information with the small medium-sized business owners who is uncertain about what the dealer has on their car. So we give them an idea of the card that dealer has. So the winning probability will go a little bit higher, or unless not losing much of the money. But what if we can have an idea? We can designate the specific card we can give specific card to the dealer to have the winning probability 100%. So that's something that we can also we have done before. One of the examples is about the movie Dog's Purpose. It was on the market in 2017. It had about $188 million gross income for that specific movie, and of course, like more about the pet owners are interested in more pet owners are here in Canada and U.S. compared to China. So Chinese market was not the target consumers for when the movie was created. But like I said, if we can give a certain card to the dealer to increase the probability of the winning, we use our data, so all the consumer base and those information. We specifically pick the consumers who have bought the pet-related product before, and then start sending out the message and then marketing this movie. And then with that, we had a link where they can actually make another purchase together with the pet-related product through the movie. So out of 188 million, about 47%, which was 88 million, was generated by the Chinese consumer. So this is one of the examples that we can actually select the specific card and give it to the dealer, and we can hold the better card to win in the business side. So with that, China with the market growth, the food consumption has been increased too. But as far as when I did the research, only 2% of the food import is for Canadian origin. So there is a lot more room to go. But good news is that every year for the last 3 years, I've seen the growth of almost 100% or more of the Canadian food product came into the Chinese market for the sales. So there is a lot more room to go to grow. And then we are here to help and to support the small and the medium-sized business. At the same time, we would like to get help and support from the suppliers like you guys as well. So what we can do, what we are, I am and my team is doing at Alibaba Group's North America business is that we are sourcing fresh, which includes fresh, live, frozen food product in different categories: the seafood, meat and poultry, fruit, and produces. And then we look for the new item. A lot of items that is available from the U.S. and Canada, usually they stayed in the U.S. and Canada because it has been the best market. And a lot of suppliers didn't really put extra effort to introduce those products to the other market, especially in China yet. So even though the item has been so very popular in here, that not so many product has been introduced. So that's our job, brings those new product that is popular in here among the Chinese population or different population, and introduce them into the Chinese market and find a new supplier. We've been doing the business with many different suppliers in the different product categories, but still the increasing the demand and the consumption in China on the fresh food side, we are looking for the new suppliers as well. And then one of the part job is that help the supplier to understand about the ecosystem and then make a recommendation on what kind of format or what kind of the path they can go through the Alibaba. Maybe on the e-commerce side, opening the flagship store, or go to the retail side, or go to the food service or the wholesale side. So we can help and suggest, and then we will become the one of the single communication channel, because there are so many different business units under the Alibaba Group, especially being involved in the procurement or sourcing in the fresh food side. So a lot of people that I met in terms of the supplier side, many people said, hey, you are the 36th person that I met from the Alibaba. So now it will be just a single communication to remove all the confusion, and our team will be the one who will be communicating with the different business unit, consolidate the information, and discuss with the supplier. And also, because since we are based in Pasadena, it will be easier for us to come meet with the supplier and then actually visit the facility to do the quality control, and then to not just to satisfy the consumer, but by having the premium quality product, we can have a long-term business in the Chinese market through the Alibaba. So, and then we also help the local supplier together with the local government association in certain products, specific product that we help for the product promotion support or maintaining relationship with the supplier together with the government relations team. So in the beginning of the Alibaba, like Steve mentioned, the beginning was to help the supplier in the rural area in China to match them to the buyers in the tier 1 cities, in the bigger cities in China. So that's how the birth of the Alibaba group. So now we are moving into the, like Steve mentioned, we are moving that into the globalization. So we would like to hear to help and to support the suppliers who is interested in the China market. We'd like to help them to explore different options to have their product displayed and sell and then be successful in the Chinese market. So that's it. Thank you.
Christine Smith, are you in there? Oh, there you are. No.
Oh, hi, everyone. My name is Christine Smith, and I'm the Regional Director for Global Affairs Canada here in Atlantic Canada. And I know I'm the last speaker between you and lunch, so I'm going to be very short. I'm going to talk to you about two surveys before you break for lunch. The first survey is one that the Government of Canada is doing on e-commerce. So in advance of negotiations relating to e-commerce at the World Trade Organization, the Government of Canada is seeking input from Canadians on the types of commitments they would like to see pursued to further facilitate trade in e-commerce, to provide a more predictable, transparent, and rules-based framework. So this is your opportunity, if you're involved in e-commerce, to provide your ideas, comments, concerns. There is an online form that you can fill out, and it's open until the 25th. I do have the website here, so I can certainly talk to you about that if you're interested. But it is your opportunity to feed into Canada's position on e-commerce moving forward. So that's just that one. The second one is, at the beginning of today's session, Laura Broughton talked about how this event was brought to us through the Atlantic Trade and Investment Growth Strategy. So it's a pan-Atlantic group of federal and provincial people that get together to organize sessions such as today. And it's really important that we get your feedback on your thoughts on today's session, how we can improve it, the things you liked. So in the left-hand pocket of the folder that you were given at the beginning of the morning, you'll find the questionnaire. We would really appreciate your feedback and your comments so that we can have better ideas moving forward about the types of initiatives that we could work collaboratively on to help you with your international trade endeavors. And that's all I have to say. Fill them out there. You can place them at the registration desk when they're completed. Thank you.
Steve Simon from Alibaba. Would you mind coming back up here? I didn't get a chance to give you our... Sorry about that.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's lobster?
Yes, lobster. Yeah. You might want to eat it right now. Would you guys mind entertaining some questions, or?
Sure.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, but we're a little bit ahead of schedule, so we're going to try to get you out here for lunch. But we thought maybe if you would entertain a couple questions from the audience, we'll see what we come up with.
Yep. A few questions, actually. If somebody is first or new to
Good questions. It's hard to answer because this is a pretty much complicated questions for most of the companies. It's not just, what we should suggest you. I think the first priority is what you think about what you want to do. Because Alibaba, to be honest, I'm working in this company about 14, 15 years. Your question is my question, our question as well. So we have to think about what we should do. So here today, we come here, we want to understand the different brand, and also we want to give you a chance to see the different regions or see the overseas market. But before that, my suggestion is go back, talk with your partners or with your senior leader teams to talk about what your suggestion or what your strategy for the next maybe 3 or 5 years. Are you ready to go to abroad? Or are you willing to sell your products to the different regions? So after that, maybe we can go to tactics. That's business plannings. But before that, in China, most of the brand, some brand is successful in the Ali groups, in the platform. There are also some brand is get lost their profit because they are not ready yet for the e-commerce as well. So in this case, my suggestion is if you are interested for the Ali groups, because today we just start from here, and we can keep keep negotiation and keep to align with us. Maybe for your case, because this afternoon we have the whole afternoon, our team will stay here. We can discuss in specific for your case, what is your steps for the Ali platform, and maybe we can give you some suggestions, and maybe we can give you some stories about maybe the similar brand, what they have done in Alibaba whole platform. Because Alibaba, as I mentioned, is quite complicated. You have to learn a lot of things. It's not just about different countries, different that's cultures. Even use English, we have the different understand about this platform. So yeah, my suggestion is we keep have the relationship with our teams, and we keep talking. And also, if you are interested for the whole platform, probably we can talk about the business in details. Maybe it's more useful for your strategies.
Okay. Another question is more out of curiosity with your technical strategy. China has a rapidly aging population like many other countries. A lot of your young people are moving into middle-class type jobs and so on. So what is your strategy for product fulfillment and delivery, for example, from the grocery stores? Because a lot of your younger people, there are going to be fewer of them, and a lot of them aren't going to be interested in fulfillment delivery jobs. They're going to be looking for higher-level middle-class jobs. So what's your strategy? More automation for fulfillment and delivery, or what's your plan in that regard?
You mean in China?
Yeah.
So how to answer these questions? So let me try to understand what you want to ask.
Well, I'll give you an example. Here in North America, it's getting harder and harder to find young people to do basic service jobs.
Yes,
I see people there doing fulfillment and delivery from your stores, but I know China has a rapidly aging population like Canada.
Yeah.
And the young people don't want these jobs. Right?
Yeah, agree, totally agree. So the good thing is because the Chinese population is still big enough, because we have the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4. Okay, each of the tiers, the cities, the young generation want to get the good, job and get the best, the quality of their lives. So Alibaba, because Alibaba is a platform, we try to create more jobs for the different tiers of the young generations. Maybe in tier 1, they want to work with you guys to like the partners to help sell your products to the China. Mm-hmm. But in tier 2 or tier 3, the young generation, at least they have a chance to go to the big cities to find a good job, and they probably start from the delivery some stuffs. Okay. And maybe next step, they can own some small business. Mm-hmm. Because in China, even the delivery, the business, most of the staff from the tier 2 or tier 3 companies, because they try to serve whole countries of the business, they get bigger and bigger. Even some brands, they go abroad with us as well. So in the North America, that's a very good question, even to the Canada. I think the Canada government is trying to fix this problem because they open the door for the whole world, like me, to come to the Canada to fix the problem. But sometimes, even in China, when we have this kind of the situations, because we go to abroad, so we can go to the different region of the countries to help the, deliver the new job opportunities to the different regions, to the different generation, young peoples, to give their chance to be better.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, both of you, for taking some questions.
Thank you.
All right, so that's going to wrap up our speakers for the morning. We appreciate everyone taking the time to come down here in that snowy morning. It was a bit, I guess it wasn't unexpected, but unexpected all at the same time, because I didn't think we'd be shoveling in April. In any event, we do have our one-on-one meetings this afternoon. That is starting at 2:30. Our lunch will be starting at about 1. We're a little ahead of schedule, so you do have, I've given you back half an hour to check emails and get caught up with things, but lunch served in this room around 1 o'clock, and your one-on-one meetings here. So on behalf of NSBI and all the partners that were here today to participate and make this event come through, we appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.